back. Domestic violence program is our topic tonight with Captain Ignacio and Inspector Malaulau. If you want to chime in the conversation, please call us at 632-8255 or 632-TALK. Cap, Guam being again chosen as the study tour. Likewise, will say Guam or other, like yourself, Inspector, will you be doing study tours also with, say, other island nations and seeing what they have or what they don't have in place? And does your study tour just limit yourselves with maybe officers on the line? Because officers don't make the laws, don't craft the laws, basically. You would have to, network with lawmakers, like, for example, maybe the councils general of, we have quite a few here on island. Those are the ones basically that need to take this word back to their island nations and say, hey, look, there are laws here, in America that need to be implemented, and in order for residents that are migrating from our island nations to come here, then we need to put these things in place.
You're totally correct. This is quite a unique program because the program cuts across Micronesia, Melanesia, and Polynesia, and the influence in Micronesia with the American influence, the influence in the South Pacific with the Commonwealth, and so there are different laws, and that's to be expected. But what we're doing with this program is that we're learning the basic style of investigation of domestic violence, whether it's domestic violence or any other offence. Our investigation process throughout the Pacific is basically the same. So we're constantly learning off each other in terms of other aspects of it. So in terms of the legislation, some countries have legislation and some countries have policy. Some countries that don't have legislation will have policy to say that we need to train our officers first so that their attitudes and behaviour change.
Because my concern is that if you're going to investigate, you can't really investigate unless there's a violation of something. And so, and that violation needs to come from a law that has been created in order to have a violation for the investigation to happen, right?
Well, most countries already have a law that says that if you commit an offence, like an assault, then you will be arrested for an assault. Not many countries have legislation specifically for domestic violence, but they rely on the legislation of assault. So if there's an assault against your partner or against your wife, then they'll use the old legislation. And other countries like Guam and New Zealand have developed specific domestic violence legislation. So that's the point of difference. They can still use the old legislation for arrest against an assault.
There we go. Let's go to Joe from Jigo. Joe, welcome to the Buzz.
Good evening.
Joe, yeah, go ahead.
Good evening, Jess.
Hey, Joe, how you doing? I recognize the voice.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you may want to turn down your TV because I'm hearing myself on the speaker. Yep, heard myself again. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Joe. Ask your question or your comment.
Yes. For the gentleman, hello?
Yes, go ahead.
For the gentleman who came from New Zealand, Maui?
Malaulau. Inspector Malaulau?
Yes.
Yeah.
Am I saying this right to you, Mr. Malaulau? Kiorana?
Kiorana is Cook Island. Kia ora is Māori in New Zealand, and I'm Samoan.
Thank you for that. By the way, the reason why I called is that, are you having the same problems or similar problems to what we're experiencing in Guam with the migration? I'm sure you have immigrants from some of the Polynesian islands, probably Melanesia, Fiji, and Micronesia. I don't know, but are you having problems with family violence in your country?
Joe, thank you very much for your comment. Inspector, are you have experienced the same thing that we're experiencing here as well from the migration?
Thanks for your comments, Joe, and yes, we are. And I think this is, and we've discussed this is happening in a lot of countries, not just Guam and New Zealand. But this is an issue where this program is working together and having some consistency in how we deal with domestic violence. And we said before that our populations are so transient that they move around the Pacific that we need to have a consistent approach to how police services approach domestic violence. So yes, we are having those problems, but what we want to get to is that in Fiji or in the Cook Islands or in Chuuk or in Tokelau, when they come to New Zealand or they come to Guam, or when New Zealanders go to Tokelau or when New Zealanders go to Chuuk, that the police services investigate domestic violence consistently. So that's where we want to get to. So in short, Joe, the answer is yes, but the police services are working together so that we have a consistent approach.
Okay, I tell you what, we're going to get to your calls as soon as the break is concluded. We'll be right back.